Parliament, the views of Parliament, and then she will be followed by the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, who has been at the building, and she has just been with regard to an update with regard to the fire, and she will give the detail of, and then we'll take questions from your good self. Speaker of the National Assembly, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mudloto, and thank you to ladies and gentlemen of the media. I also want to thank the Minister of Public Works, Minister Patricia de Lille, who has been on the spot since early this morning, and the Deputy Minister of State Security. Now, as I said earlier on in my
Speaker, I think from my side, I'm struggling to hear you. Okay. If you can move a little bit around.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, ma'am, can.
Okay, I'm really sorry. Yes, can you, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I was still saying thank you very much to you, Mr. Mulapo, for organizing this media briefing, and I want to thank the Minister of Public Works, Mr. de Lille, who has been on site since early this morning. He has been on the grounds in the parliamentary precinct, together with the Deputy Minister, Zizi Kodwa. I am speaking on behalf of the presiding officers, on behalf of the Executive Authority of Parliament, and I want to express obviously our shock at these developments, but also our sadness, because obviously we are preparing right now for the opening of Parliament, for the State of the Nation address. The President has called a joint sitting for a joint sitting on the 10th of February. And therefore preparations are already underway for that joint sitting of the two houses, where the Parliament will then outline the plans for 2022-2023. Earlier on in an interview which I had with the SABC, I did emphasize the point that yes, it is said that this has happened because indeed the Parliament is a national key point, and this is an appropriate place where the President should address the nation from. However, my view is that this which has happened now should not prevent us from continuing with listening to the State of the Nation address, which outlines the entire program of government for the oncoming year. But not only that, following the SONA, remember there will be a budget a presentation to the nation, and the different budget government departments will be engaged on, together with members of Parliament and the public, on the budget allocation to their various government, to their respective government departments. And therefore, the SONA should continue. Ours is to find an alternative manner and an alternative venue where the President will address the South African public from. The Parliament itself as a building, yes, I can confirm, and I think Minister de Lille will also talk to this matter, that right now, Parliament is on fire. Right now, the National Assembly itself is on fire. I can confirm that. And this is the last report which I have received from the Secretary of the National Assembly and the Executive Manager responsible for facilities in Parliament. Earlier on, there was an issue about the report of the fire which occurred in March, and which report really identified an electrical fault as the main cause of the fire in Parliament. I'm aware that from the officials that Yes, this report was presented to the presiding officers through the executive authority. That this report was also presented to the Joint Standing Committee on Oversight of Parliament, and that the recommendations of the report are currently being implemented. They will obviously have in the meeting which we will hold with the executive management of Parliament, there will be a discussion about the form of sitting that we'll have, whether we'll continue to have a hybrid sitting or whether the president will address us from a different venue altogether. But whatever it is, we are determined to ensure that the State of the Nation address continues. Lastly, I think I should make the point that on a matter which has been raised, which talks to documents which are in Parliament, which are stored in Parliament, from the reports I have received, I hate to speculate. I don't want to speculate at all. I would rather give you factual report about what has transpired, because right now we are informed that indeed there was fire on the side of the NCOP and now in the National Assembly, and that there is fire now in the National Assembly itself. But one would also be interested to understand what happened between the NCOP building, that entire passage, which has offices and other, offices and the library, etc., right up to the National Assembly, whether there was fire in that area. But it is true that the National Assembly now is affected. I think the issue about documents is a matter which can only be addressed when we have now received a report from the police about the exact offices which have been burnt down, but also about from the security of Parliament and the executive management of Parliament about which storage facilities have been burnt down, whether the areas where documents of Parliament are stored were also affected. I do not know. But as I say, it would be incorrect of us to speculate about what happened. We do not even know at this point what the cause of that fire is, except for scanty reports which have been coming in, which to me are inconclusive. You only speak with authority when there is conclusive investigation of what happened by the police, and when the police have delivered a report which talks to the exact developments of this morning. So that is where I am on the matter. And I am really hoping that, because Minister Dilil is in Cape Town and SSA Minister is also in Cape Town, that as soon as I get to Parliament in Cape Town, whether late in the night or tomorrow morning, because we're battling to get flights, but we will get to Cape Town today before the end of the day, that we'll be able to put our heads together and do an assessment of the damage caused. I'm hoping that by then, some of the presiding officers will also be on the spot. I know that the Secretary of Parliament is flying from Johannesburg at 3. By 5 o'clock, she will be in Cape Town, in the parliamentary precinct. So I think that is all I can say now, and I will leave it to Minister Dilil to then talk to what she has already seen in Cape Town as a person who's on site. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Recording in progress.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm going now to hand over to the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Speaker. It is indeed very sad to see the house of our democracy, where the elected representatives of Parliament meet to discuss the State of the Nation address, and like you mentioned, that it's up in flames. The firefighters are on the scene. I also want to thank all the firefighters. They've been very professional. They are working. A new team has come on duty. I have just received a report from the fire chief now about 5 minutes ago, Madam Speaker. And yes, you are correct that the National Assembly is still burning. We've not been able to contain the fire in the chambers of the National Assembly. Part of the ceilings have collapsed. What we are also doing now is that we are putting measures in place to protect Atenes that is just next to where the fire is burning, and teams are on standby to prevent that. And I will agree with you, Madam Speaker, that we cannot make any conclusive findings or even speculation about where the fire started. As we speak, Madam Speaker, the fire forensic teams are busy at work. The police are here, the security are here, and all of us, we're all pulling together to try and stop the fire as soon as possible. I think from what the fire chief was telling me earlier on, it might take another 2 to 3 hours to get the fire under control. But no speculations until we have done the full investigation. Madam Speaker, there have been questions asked about a fire that happened also at Parliament in March of 2021. And like Madam Speaker said, that some reports were given to the Portfolio Committee and to Parliament. I am busy going through those reports now to assess how far we have come with the reparation and repairs of the fire that happened in March of 2021. We all know that besides Parliament being a national key point, it is also a heritage site. So once I have compiled that report, I will present it to you, Madam Speaker, later during the day and maybe the next hour or two, because we cannot speculate that there is a link between the first fire and the second fire until we have got all our facts together. So that's all for now, Madam Speaker. The National Assembly chamber is a very sacred place. We're also trying to protect the bust of our late President Nelson Mandela in front of the National Assembly. So we want to give you the assurance, Madam Speaker, that the teams are trying our utmost best to contain the fire. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to allow a few questions, clarity-seeking questions over and above what the Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Minister have said. Just use your icon for raising a hand, and then I will be able to identify you as such. I see Junior Kumalo. That's the only hand that I'm seeing now. Any other hand? Yan. And who else? Okay, I'm only seeing those hands. In that particular order, please.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I just wanted to get clarity. There was a fire on the 17th of March, 2021. I'm not sure whether the speaker said that there was a report that was, there were recommendations regarding that fire. Were those recommendations implemented, or the recommendations are yet to be received by the speaker? Because the minister said she is going to hand over the recommendations in the next hour or today, sometime today. And the second question is directed to Minister de Lille. There was a report by the department, by de Lille's department, which was done by the auditing company BDO, which was given to the minister, and the minister gave that report to the speaker. With regards to that report, were there any recommendations regarding the safety of the parliamentary precinct, and were those recommendations implemented?
Okay, thank you very much, Yan.
Thanks, Malota, and happier new year to you than it's been so far. Will there be a report from the Parliamentary Security Services on this? And if so, at what point will this report be made public to us in the media and to the country at large? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last hand, okay, I see that hand that was supposed to follow after you, Yan, has now been put down. So I think we will deal with those questions.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't have the hand icon on mine, and I just have one question that I want to ask quickly, if that's all right.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So you've said that we need to wait on the reports to know whether there was whatever the cause was of the fire. That makes sense. That's the normal process. But on Twitter, there's two hashtags that are trending now. The one is Parliament, and the other one is Parliament Attack. And it's beginning to pick up steam in terms of kind of conspiracy theory thing. And I just wanted to know if you guys would like to give a message or send a message to South Africans at this stage. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Melissa. And then the last hand, Honorable Speaker and Minister, is Ms. Sophie Mokoena.
Thank you. My name is Sophie Mokoena from the South African Broadcasting Corporation. Minister de Lille spoke about Parliament being a heritage site. I'm sure that applies to the UN documents as well. And when you look, there's huge interest internationally in terms of the media having picked up the story and now making international headlines. The president is not a member of Parliament, but are we likely to see the president perhaps saying something about this, or even perhaps visiting the parliamentary precinct as the head of state, as much as he is not a member of Parliament? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Memukwena, Speaker. And Minister, Speaker, do you want to go first with regard to the list of questions posed?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Moloto, and thank you very much to those of you who have raised questions. And I should say this, I'm particularly concerned about that issue which is trending, which we are told is trending, that Parliament is under attack. On my views on that matter would be, I think it would be a sad day for South Africa. A very sad day for anyone to even have an idea, let alone an intention, to go and attack such an institution. This is an institution where our constitution was drafted and adopted. This is an institution where the aspirations of South Africans are discussed and decided on how we adopt a program of fulfilling the desires and the aspirations of the South African people. This is an institution where the laws of the Republic of South Africa are discussed and are decided upon. This is an institution that has an oversight role over the executive. And therefore, anyone and anyone who does or even thinks and considers attacking the institution of Parliament actually attacks our democracy, attacks everything which South African people fought for. And therefore, that is why I said earlier on, Moloto and ladies and gentlemen of the media, from where I'm sitting, I do not want to speculate about what happened in Parliament, because I cannot imagine any normal thinking South African, any patriot who would actually go all out and attack our democracy in the manner in which it is suggested, because it's not an attack on Parliament as the one arm of the state. If that is so, it would be an attack on everything which South African people have fought for, everything which our constitution stands for, everything which South African people voted for even in the last election. So I really do not want to believe that we have reached in South Africa that point where somebody would actually, that would be arson actually, that a person would actually walk into Parliament and burn down our constitution. That's actually setting the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa on fire. And if that is so, that all South Africans will have to close ranks, come together, condemn such, because all of us in South Africa, and I'm not talking about members of Parliament here who are politicians, I'm talking about South African people. I'm talking about the aspirations of South African people, not of the political parties in Parliament, not our aspiration, those of us who were part of the liberation struggle. I'm talking about aspirations of all South Africans, that whoever would have done that, if that has happened, it's something that would have to be properly investigated, condemned by all of us across the political divide, because South Africa, it is about, all of us have been talking about the importance of building the South African nation, the importance of social cohesion, the importance of unity of South African people. And we cannot, therefore, we cannot, all of us, just sit there and say, well, it has happened, if it has happened. And therefore my plea to those who are on social media is, until such time that there is a conclusive report which talks to that issue, which actually suggests that indeed arson here has been conducted. In fact, indeed our democracy is under attack. Hence the talk on my side, which is that it's not about an attack on Parliament. An attack on Parliament is an attack on the democracy of South Africa. And therefore all of us, one, those who are on social media, it's okay to be on social media. It's okay to engage in a dialogue on social media. It's okay to throw your part. We should be very cautious, careful, not to make suggestions that may actually put us in a situation where we say, indeed now, maybe, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I am an optimist. I'm not the kind who is quick to come to conclusions which may suggest that indeed our democracy now is at a point where people would engage in that kind of sabotage. Because if you do that, that's actually sabotage. And therefore, I'm appealing to all of us. I'm appealing even to those who are on social media that they should await. I'm sure in the next 48 hours, the police will be able to provide us with an indication. I'm not saying with a full report, but with an indication of what their suspicions are on this matter. I think that's what I would want to say. And of course, the issue of the raised by Junior, which is the recommendations of the report, of the previous report. From what I have heard, and I'm sure Minister Delil can talk more on this matter, it was said it was an electrical fault. Sophie, you asked whether we will expect the president to speak. Yes, the president is the head of state. He is the head of state. We have three arms of the state, namely the legislature, your executive, and the judiciary. Obviously, I should say this, that even before one could talk to Minister Delil and the Deputy Minister of SSA, I had already sent a word to the President to say, I've received a report that Parliament is on fire and that I'm going to be in touch with the ministers who are on the ground. So he is fully informed, and I'm aware that Minister Delil, at some point when I was talking to her, she too was on the line to the president. So here, much as we have the three arms of state, namely the legislature, for which I am responsible for, together with Amos Masondo, it is important equally for all of us, particularly when we receive the report about what may have happened in Parliament. Obviously, the president would be happy, and I think it would be appropriate of him to actually talk to the nation as well and express his views on the matter. But as I say, at this point in time, neither myself as an executive authority of Parliament, nor Minister Delil as the head of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, none of us can say at this point, this is an attack on our democracy, because we don't know. Until such time the police come forward now, after their investigations, and the forensic investigators come forward and say, this is the report, these are our views on the matter, this is what we suspect may have happened here. Then at that point, if it points to an attack on Parliament, then it's an attack on our democracy. And of course, appropriate action would have to be taken and proper investigations would have to be conducted, and not speculate on the nature of the fire which we see right now in Parliament. Thank you very much.
If I can come in, can you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sure the media, Mutapo, and your team, can you hear the minister?
Thank you.
We can. It's Kotan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, just on the question from Junior Kamalo, there are two issues here. He is requesting what has happened to the BDO report. Now, the BDO report was commissioned in 20, where the then speaker and the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure appointed an independent investigator to evaluate and assess all the projects linked to Parliament. That report was completed, and I have delivered that report to Madam Speaker. for processing. That was towards the end of the year. The second report was related to the first fire that we had at Parliament in March of 2021. The findings of the forensic report with the first fire found that there was an electrical shortage that caused that fire. Then the issue from Yan about the security service report, Minister Zizi Kodwa and all the security services are on site, and they will be compiling a report, and it will be released under the auspices of Deputy Minister Zizi Kodwa. Sophie Mokoena asked about Parliament being a heritage site. Yes, it is. And any renovations and any repairs to Parliament, you need to get the approval of the South African Heritage Agency because it is a heritage site. So they have also been working together with the Department of Public Works and Parliament on any renovations and repairs to Parliament. As Madam Speaker have said, yes, the President has been briefed about it, but Madam Speaker is the executive authority responsible for Parliament, and that is why the Speaker will be giving the media briefings from time to time as things are unfolding today. But I want to assure South Africans that we are doing everything in our power here to safeguard and to contain this fire. Like I said, the fire department is hard at work, and everybody is not just focusing on containing the fire. And I will ask of the media that we please give us some space so that once we've contained the fire, we are able to go into the building. When I leave here now, I'm going to go into the old assembly chamber where the fire has been contained already, but the fire is still raging. I don't see any smoke coming out now on the National Assembly side, so we might even be allowed to have access to that. And then later this afternoon, we will give the media, or I will give Madam Speaker an update, and then Madam Speaker will then communicate with the media further today. But thank you for the coverage so far. The fire brigade was on site within 6 minutes this morning, and they are still hard at work right now, Madam Speaker. And we are here, and we will keep Madam Speaker informed for the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Muloto, are you still here?
Okay. Hello. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the disappearance earlier on due to the network connection. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we must leave it there. Thank you very much to the Speaker of the National Assembly and to the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure for the views and for the updates to the public with regard to this incident at Parliament. I'm going to allow us to, with your agreement, colleagues, that we end it here. There is media that is camped here at Parliament. It will, the media will continue to be briefed of what is transpiring with regard to the fire. The minister is here. The Speaker of the National Assembly is being kept informed at all times. There is also the one of the presiding officers, the House Chairperson for committees, Mr. Frolik, who is also on site. So we will continue to brief the media with regard to any update that is here, and also the media that is not here, but all over the country. Thank you very much, colleagues, for joining us. We'll continue to give you an update. Thank you very much. The press briefing is adjourned.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
The roof is now burning. Yeah. And it's now showing back.